What if your DAW could actually tell you why your orchestral mockup sounds nothing like the reference, and then guide you on how to fix it by answering your questions? Well, today's update to Orchestral Mixing Advisor does exactly that. Hi everyone and welcome back. If you've been following this channel, you already know Orchestral Mixing Advisor, the free browser-based tool built specifically for composers and orchestral mixers who want to get better results from their mockups. Today I'm walking you through the biggest update yet. I've added 3 brand new features: the Smart Spectral Analyzer, the Spectral Comparator, and finally AI Mixing and Mastering Assistance. Let's get into it. But before we jump into the new stuff, let me do a quick recap for anyone who is new here. Orchestral Mixing Advisor already had a solid toolkit. The Orchestral EQ Advisor gives you instrument-specific EQ suggestions, whether you are working on violins, cellos, brass, woodwinds, etc. It tells you exactly what frequency areas to focus on for each section. The Compression Advisor recommends the right compressor type for each instrument, whether there is a VCA, optical, tube compressor, and explains why with contextual tips tailored to orchestral dynamics. And finally, Pan and Reverb Advisor, which helps you put each of the instruments within the virtual space, starting from panning recommendations and finishing on setting up reverb sends, from convolution 1 to whole reverb. These well-known features also received new layout with frequency spectrum visualizer and the ability to visualize the specific range of cuts and boosts when you point each of the suggestions, and this is in the consideration to EQ Advisor. It also has a full isometric picture for placement visualization of your instrument regarding the Pan and Reverb Advisor. I want to give this tool more, let's say, a modern look and feel and make it visual friendly. Great foundation, but now let's talk about what's new. When you download the application, as previously, you will see some of the files, this time assets files and final Orchestral Mixing Advisor HDMI files. So you double click here and you are instantly in the view of the application with separate modules as previously. So Orchestral EQ Advisor, Compression Advisor, and Pan and Reverb Advisor, and additional modules, so Spectral Comparator, Frequency Masking Checker, which I almost forget mentioned, and finally AI Mixing and Mastering Assistant. First up, the Smart Spectral Analyzer. This is a real-time spectral analysis tool, but with a twist. It doesn't just show you default settings of EQ. It reads waveform of your VST instrument audio sample and gives you an intelligent recommendation. So you hit choose audio file, load up your VST instrument sample and choose which of the instrument it pertains to, and click analyze. Within seconds, you get a full recommendation, so which should be cut, which should be boosted, designed specifically on the basis of the spectrum and algorithm with the rules prepared based on my experience with mixing. It's almost like having a mixing engineer glance at your spectrum and give you an honest first opinion in a second. Next, and this one is honestly a game changer for mockup work, the Spectral Comparator. My idea was simple but incredibly powerful. You upload your mockup and a reference track. Maybe a commercial recording, a film score you love, whatever your target is. The tool overlays the spectrums and generates an average difference curve that shows you frequency by frequency exactly where your mockup diverges from the reference. So you get 3 views: the mockup spectrum, the reference spectrum, and the composite spectrum that lays them on top of each other. The difference curve is where the magic happens, because you can immediately see that my mockup is thin in the 2 to 5 kHz presence range, or there is too much low mid mat compared to the reference. This eliminates so much guesswork, because instead of going back and forth between your DAW and the reference track by ear, you have a visual data-driven gap analysis right in front of you. Load it up, compare, fix, and repeat. What is also helpful in the context of mockups is that you can align your mockup with the reference track, because it's normal that the timing of those two can be different. So if you want to receive more accurate results of this tool, you can simply drag the waveform of your mockup to the left or to the right. During the analysis, you can also listen to the reference and mockup and switch between them instantly. However, if you prefer to analyze only this spectrum visualization, you can mute the sound. I think it's really crucial if you want to really focus. Moving forward, frequency masking checker. This tool is designed to help you find masking frequencies, so frequencies which collide with each other between stems of your DAW session. You are starting with uploading, let's say, horn stem and ensemble brass stem, and instantly see what it can be improved to make these stems work together better. You click check masking and see all the recommendation. However, if you want to analyze frequencies manually, you can play both stems together and see merge frequency spectrum. And finally, the one that really takes, in my humble opinion, this up to the next level, the AI Mixing and Mastering Assistant. This is a full conversational AI running locally in your browser once you will download the model into your computer, specifically focus on mixing and mastering for orchestral music. You can ask it anything. How should I approach the reverb on my string brass? My brass section is masking the woodwinds, what do I do? Or what's the right approach to limiting a cinematic orchestral mix without killing the dynamics? And you get real context-aware answer. It understands orchestral terminology, it knows the difference between the scoring stage sound and the studio sound, and it can help you think through problems when you are simply stuck. You can start a new session at any time with start new chat, or clear the history if you want a clean slate. It's designed to be genuine, creative and technical collaborator, not just a search engine. And what was also important for me was the workflow. So I give you the opportunity to set up a new folder for, let's say, some range of chats, because maybe you want to gather some of chats together in consideration to your specific project in your DAW. You can make also subfolders, you can rename the chat, so it will be easier to navigate to specific problem after a while when you come back to the application. And what was also important, and is important for me, is the fact that it runs locally. So this means no subscription, no need to provide the API key to, let's say, ChatGPT or Claude, no data being sent anywhere. This is the open source model which was fed with the information in my database. So as I said, it's contextual aware of the orchestral music. So you just open the app and start asking. And if you once downloaded the model and you come back later to the app, just simply click new chat and load the model button. And after a few seconds, you are ready to go again. So to recap, what's new? Smart Spectral Analyzer for intelligent frequency analysis, a Spectral Comparator for closing the gap between your mockup and your reference. The frequency masking checker will help make your stems work together better, And finally, an AI mixing mastering assistant that's always ready to talk shop. All of these are still free, browser-based, and built specifically for orchestral composers and mixer. I also take a challenge and build a Windows standalone version of the application, so if for your workflow will be better to use the application in this version, you can give it a try and open in your Windows. The link is in the description. As always, no install, no sign up, just open it and go. If you find it useful, drop a like, leave a comment with what you would like to see next, and consider supporting the project. There is a buy me a coffee button in the app, so if you want to keep it growing and you think that this is worth something for you, I will be really grateful for your support. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy mixing!